Hello, this is Ranger Rich at Sci-Fi City. Today we have a special guest, the one and only Shane Hensley. Shane, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Rich.
For the very few of you who do not know Shane, he has been designing games for almost 30 years and has his own game company, Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Shane has designed games for more companies over the years, such as West End Games, FASA, and TSR, just to name a few. Among his credits include the Army of Darkness RPG, published by Eden Studios. Shane also worked at Cryptic Studios, where he was a senior writer on City of Villains, MMORG. So today we're here to talk about Shane's latest creation, Savage Worlds Adventure Edition. Shane, what are the major differences between the new Savage Worlds Adventure Edition and the previous Savage Explorers Edition?
Right, so the big thing is we took all the feedback we'd gotten through the last 15 years or so, cleaned it up, streamlined it, put it in a new package that makes it even more presentable and approachable. And I would say that, rules wise, what's really exciting about it is we combine, I think in a really good way, crunch with narrative. So we have systems in there like support rules, right? So if one of your characters is, say you're playing Flash Gordon, and the ship's going down and Flash is trying to control the ship before it hits Mongo, right? Dale Arden and Hans Zarkov can hop in and do, you can do it, Flash, and give a persuasion roll to support his actual piloting role, right?
Which does help.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? And it's really cool because what happens is you're sitting around the table and everyone's getting involved now, right? Each player is trying to figure out, how can I use my healing skill that I'm really good at to help in this situation, or whatever, right?
Or just be the cheerleader.
Or just be the cheerleader, and you can do all those things, and it really encourages imagination and teamwork. And there's lots of little things like that through the new edition that are very exciting.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Now, there's a lot of stuff here on the table, and we don't have to go through all of it, but we'll be showing it all while we're talking. But do we have to have all of this, or can we just play with the rule book?
No, honestly, you don't even need the rule book once you kind of get used to the game, right? Because it's such a simple system. You're rolling a higher die the better you are at something. A 4 is a success, and 8 is a raise. Okay. All this extra stuff is fun, and it adds to it. You will need a deck of cards for initiative, so we make custom cards.
Right.
There are different states your character can be in, so we make tokens. There are, some GMs like a screen in front of them with all the handy charts and things in front of them. But you don't need any of it, but it makes it really nice. I've been playing with a production copy of the set for the last few months in the conventions and so forth that I've been going to, and it's really nice. We have like status cards, for example. So when somebody's wounded, I'll describe it in cool narrative detail what happens, but then I can give them a card that reminds them not only are they wounded, but here's the game effects for it. So they're really handy and really cool to have.
So this box set is pretty incredible. What all is in there?
Okay, can they see my hands?
I think so.
Okay. So this is the status cards, which I just mentioned a moment ago. So when your character's fatigued or wounded or any of that kind of stuff, I can just give you a card and you can be reminded of it. These tokens do the same thing. They're usually very handy if you're playing with miniatures. They actually have a little arrow on it so you can point it to the correct miniature, or you can put it under it or whatever. There are templates for blast effects, things like that, cone effects.
Blast radius. I love it.
This is the chases and vehicles reference charts. There's a combat reference chart. So the GM can hand these out at the table for the players who want to do a little more advanced gaming and try some of the different maneuvers and things you can do. These are our bennies. So bennies is an American slang term for benefits. And what we do with these is you can use them for re-rolls, you can use them to soak wounds, and some other stuff in the game. And the GM actually hands these to players as they do cool stuff. They make the table laugh. They role play their hindrances. Anything that kind of moves the game along and helps everybody have fun.
Cool.
The action deck is a standard playing card deck, and we use this for initiative in the game. And you have different edges that your character might have that let you get more choices, so you can go faster. Sometimes you want to go slower in the game too. There are actually edges that capitalize on that. This is all done with incredible Cheyenne Wright art. And we did them in oversized cards because what we found is when we go around the world actually running games, we deal these out around a table, and it's really handy if I can see a nice big card like that across the table. Right. So then we have a world builder and game master's guide where we had myself, Clint and Jody Black, and several other people who have worked with our company and with many other companies give advice and tips for running games, particularly with Savage Worlds. This is a mini settings book that has some cool new little worlds by myself, Cheyenne Wright, Matthew Cutter, and BJ Hensley. These are no relation, by the way. These are counters for your PowerPoints or ammo or help or anything else you want to do with it, but mostly we use them for PowerPoints. They're real handy and sturdy. Got custom dice with all the different icons for fantasy, pulp, sci-fi, and horror. GM screen.
Wow.
And wow, I think that's about it. Oh, so there's still two more.
Yeah.
So power cards are, these are the powers your characters can cast, like wizards cast Fireball or Invisibility or whatever. And you can hand these directly to a player so they don't have to be flipping through the book in the middle of the game. This is an adventure deck, which is something really cool. And what these are is these are special cards. Everybody gets a couple during the game, and you can choose which ones you want to play with. And actually, something kind of cool to see here is we made the boxes a little bit larger than the cards. So A, you can fit more in as we make more, and 2, you can sleeve your cards if you want.
Wow.
A and 2, I don't think that goes together. If you get what I mean. And these do really fun things in the middle of a fight. So, Dark Bargain. Play after contact with an arcane force or strange incident. Draw another adventure card and increase the number you may draw and play by 1 forever. So that's a really cool card. And there's lots of stuff.
All right. Well, y'all really thought of everything. I mean, the fact that you made the one set of cards bigger than the other so you can see them across the table easier. And your boxes include room for more cards. So that's really handy. I think that the players will really appreciate
I think they will too.
As time goes on, they'll be appreciate that more and more.
We're really proud of it.
Okay, so would you say that this new Savage World Adventure Edition is first and foremost a role-playing game or a miniatures game or a blend of both?
So it's absolutely first and foremost a role-playing game.
Role-playing game.
And that's what it is designed for. It's a role-playing game that supports miniatures use, and a lot of our fans love to use miniatures.
Sure.
Not all do. A lot of people play Theater of the Mind, and it works just fine for that. And we have, a few things like the templates. We have shortcuts in the rules for that. We have explicit rules for just playing Theater of the Mind. But it is absolutely, definitely an RPG first.
So what feature of this game are you most excited about? This edition, this version.
I think it's the ease of use. I think it's the test and support rules I mentioned before.
So it's more inclusive, make it easier for more people to play.
Right, exactly. And some of the subsystems, like chases, are really fun. Dramatic tasks are really cool. It's like, defusing a bomb or something, right? Like something high intensity like that. It could just be a couple of skill rolls, but we've got some pressure that it puts on you in our little subsystem for it. Right. And I mentioned support before, where everybody kind of gets involved and helps support each other in the game. There's also the opposite. The opposite of that is test. So one of our playtesters, Veronica Blessing, actually used her healing skill to test a bad guy. And test can make a foe distracted or vulnerable, or even shaken if you do really well. And she did that by implying that if she stuck him with this needle, he was going to get this terrible virus. Right? So she rolls her healing skill against his spirit, and you get this kind of movie talk where, she doesn't have to be a big intimidating guy to rattle him. She can use her knowledge of medicine, right? Another guy might be able to use his occult lore to tell you something man was not meant to know. So it really encourages that kind of creativity and spontaneity.
Sounds like it's very wide open as to what the players can come up with.
Yeah, we don't like to say no, you can't. We like to say, here are the modifiers if you want to try it.
Right.
And since Benny's let you re-roll and the dice explode, anything can happen.
So the new art is amazing. I was looking through it yesterday as I was taking pictures. So how many different artists did you work with?
Gosh, I don't know. It's certainly over a dozen. Yeah.
What was that like? Just
well, you'd have to ask our art director.
Okay.
That's Aaron Acevedo. But from my end, we lay out the book, we kind of rough it, and then I'll say, I want to illustrate what suppressive fire looks like, and we choose one of the characters. We have 2 main characters in this book that we portray, and we want to show him, firing a laser machine gun against a bunch of alien insect things that are attacking. And then we get a sketch back, and I approve that, and then they do, they do the full color art, and almost always with the folks we work with, I'm just amazed at how great it turns out.
So, out of all the art, what are some of your favorite pieces?
Well, the last piece in the book is absolutely my favorite, and it's gotten a lot of attention from people, and I won't spoil it here.
Is the book out here?
It is.
Can you? Oh, you don't want to spoil it?
I'd rather not.
Okay, I was going to say let's show it, and then, but then I'm like, wait, you just said let's not spoil it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's actually a story told within the art of the book, all the way to the end, and some of the quotes and stuff, and it's impactful.
Okay. So, well, I can't wait to go take a look at that. I'm gonna have to, but I won't spoil it. So when will the Kickstarter backers start getting their copies?
So I am here on the 24th, Saturday the 24th, and my understanding is that about 100 orders have already gone out. So they're being delivered.
They're going out.
Yep.
Have you done all the signing that you're going to have to do?
So Clint Black, Jody Black, and myself just spent 6 straight hours signing 2,000 collector's editions this morning.
All right. Well, you know what? Oh, let's take a look. I think I have a few shots of that. So did you have to take any breaks to relax your
We
hand
took
with it?
one bathroom break and about a 20-minute lunch break.
Okay.
Other than that, we just stayed
signing.
right at it. So I have to fly back to Phoenix tonight.
Okay.
So we got her done.
Awesome. So how do I get one of these if I missed out on the Kickstarter?
So you can order them directly from the Pinnacle website.
Okay, and that is?
It's www.peginc.com.
Okay.
Deadlands.com also works.
Deadlands, okay.
All of this material is available from your favorite local gaming store as well, except the collector's editions. Those are only available from Pinnacle.
Okay. So what's next for Pinnacle Entertainment Group? Any new products that you're currently working on that you can tell us about?
Absolutely. So our Deadlands line is our flagship line, and Deadlands The Weird West has been out of print for a while. We're just about done with the new edition of that. But before we debut The Weird West, we're actually going to premiere Deadlands Lost Colony, which is essentially Deadlands in space.
Oh.
And the first edition of that was done way back in about 2000 or so, when Pinnacle was definitely in a very different place. So the new one that we've done is really a complete rewrite, rethink from the ground up, and I think people are going to be pretty excited about it. There's also a big change for the entire Deadlands line that's coming. That's going to ripple throughout all the different subsettings, and we'll talk more about that very soon.
Well, that's a nice teaser. Well, one last question. I'm mainly a superhero genre type, so what do you have coming up the pipeline for that?
Well, I'm happy to say, so some of you may know about our Necessary Evil line, where the villains have had to rise and take the place of the heroes because they all got wiped out in this alien invasion. That continues, and it's going to become part of a larger line called Doomguard.
Okay.
That you will hear a lot about very soon.
Awesome. Okay, that sounds great. Okay, so do you have a favorite role-playing game?
Well, it's Savage Worlds, of course.
One that you didn't design.
I do. So, well, I kind of did. So, the original Torg by West End Games, I thought was just one of the most revolutionary games that I'd ever played. It let face characters be effective in combat and all kinds of just crazy ideas. The dramatic tasks, for example, they have dramatic skill resolution, which we were inspired by, for Savage Worlds. I got to do the new edition of Torg with Daryl Hayhurst and a bunch of other folks with Ulysses recently, so I got to work on my dream project there for a bit. But yeah, Torg will always have a special place in my heart. Cool. But I play everything. I love D&D, Pathfinder, GURPS. I love it all.
So when you go to different conventions, do you play then?
Yes, I usually just wind up running Savage Worlds and stuff for folks, but if I can slip away and try something new, I absolutely will.
Okay, and then are people that visit conventions able to sign up to play in a game that you're running? Or?
So, if I'm a guest, then you have to go through whatever process that particular convention uses. Sometimes it's a raffle to play in a game. Sometimes it's a raffle and some open games. It can be a mix. If I just go to a con myself, I'll usually just do regular signups like everybody else. Or sometimes I'll just invite people who have contacted me privately or friends, and we'll just do it. And I usually try to do it in an open area, so if people want to watch, they can.
Listen, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then how long do your matches usually take?
So we typically run 4-hour slots, and I usually finish a little early. But interestingly, when you go to Europe, for example, they prefer 45-minute games, sometimes like 90-minute games. They like to run through a whole lot of people through demos and kind of show them how does the system work, what it's primarily about, and then move on. It's a very different culture over there.
All right, well, Shane, thank you so much for coming to Sci-Fi City here in Knoxville, Tennessee today to go over the Savage World Adventure Edition.
Well, thanks, Rich. Thanks for having me. This is a great store, by the way. If you're anywhere in the Knoxville area, you should absolutely come check this out.
Thank you so much. We'll see y'all next time.